And one of the things that I want to ask you about, just being a fan of your work, I know that you love music the way I love music. And when I look at the current moment, I feel like popular music is a little absent from it. In the role that popular
Mm.
music has played in protest eras of the past. I'm wondering if you agree with that, and if so, why you think that's the case.
Well, I do agree with that, but I also think that we're at a point where we maybe have progressed past the need not for protest music, but for contemporary musicians to capital M make a statement.
Mm.
Um, which I think is maybe tough for people to reckon with. But I don't feel any absence. Like when I'm out on the streets, like we're still playing old Nina Simone songs or old Kendrick Lamar songs or um, you know, and so I think the protest song has been braided through past decades in the American moment, and now there's something that maybe feels a little craven about it. Um, and some of that is just because I think the current makeup of the pop culture landscape um, relies entirely on just countless rotations of people responding to moments and responding to moments and responding to moments, usually for great gain. And so I don't know if there's a way to make a protest song in a protest moment right now that feels genuine or that
Mm.
feels like it's coming from a place that is um, doing any work to actually serve the people or
I
to
see.
motivate the people. But I mean, there are some. I mean, Lil Baby had a protest song that hit last week, and I think it was high on the charts. I don't pay much attention to the Billboard charts anymore, but it was like number 33 or 4 on the charts.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know if that's going to live in the moment the same way. Like, even recency, This Is America, how that still kind of lives in the protest moment.
Yeah, as does Kendrick Lamar's All Right, that kind of is
Yeah.
out there too. Yeah, you I read this beautiful article that you wrote called The Galvanizing Musicality of the Protest Chant. And it kind of speaks to what you were just talking about. And I guess I wanted to hear a little bit more about that. First of all, it's I read it out loud, and your words are so indelibly meant to be read and the said. So it's kind of like they pop on the page, and when I'm like saying it, I was like, this dude is a poet. But like, I kind of wanted to hear what connects with you about, I guess I want to say, the spirituality of the protest chant, like how it actually can wake people up. And I kind of want to hear a little bit about your thoughts on that energy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of multiple voices, the convergence of many voices to create one voice.
Mm.
Like, I think that act in and of itself is motivating for me. I didn't grow up in a church. I was raised Muslim, so I didn't grow up um, in a church, which I think maybe, but I piqued my interest around choirs because even though I didn't grow up in the church, I grew up around church music, or I grew up hearing the way choirs had been utilized in Black choirs specifically have been utilized on past records and in samples and all these things. So there's something that I really think um, is galvanizing about the sonic quality of many voices from many corners converging to create one sound. Um, and that is a kind of propelling factor for me. I think, um, to kind of be in the street and hear that is one thing, but the thing that I really love is, for me, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, where I'm born, raised, live, and there've just been kind of like many places there have been kind of countless actions happening, um, and there's something really propelling for me to pull up on an action and even with my car windows up, be able to hear the people before I see the people.
Mm.
Mm.
Right? There's something really reassuring about knowing that my people are out in mass even though I'm not there. Even when I'm on my way there, I can hear the street is kind of trembling with their voice.
I'm going to ask you a hypothetical, theoretical question that kind of starts with that as a base. Because, in reading that piece, it seems that the chant also takes on the characteristics of being uh, energizing physically for the people involved in the protest. Like when they become physically exhausted from the march itself, a chant can kind of motivate them to keep pushing. And, theoretically, that makes me wonder, is there a similar mechanism for when we are like exhausted from trying to push like online? Do you know what I mean? If we're when we're exhausted from social media, like is there something that could serve the function that a chant serves when you're at a protest that would kind of serve the purpose of energizing and reminding us that we're part of something that's bigger?
Logging off and doing something else. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I'm someone who, to be real, is kind of always operating at a baseline of exhaustion, and has, for better or worse, probably for worse, has just come to accept that as a part of my routine, my work, both my work on the page and my work in the community I live in. You know, it leads to a type of satisfying exhaustion. And so for me, yeah, I mean, half the time I'm online, I'm exhausted, but also, you know, I think there are pockets of the internet that keep me there and keep me present. You know what I got really into just like watching archival concert footage, which is something, I mean, as someone who's a bit of like a music archivist, it's not all that surprising, but I think there's something about, you know, finding, I'm a person who digs, you know, I dig in the crates for records, and I dig for old footage. And there's something really great about finding like a gem, you know, like finding a video of Al Green in like 1975,
Right.
you know, where he was just kind of like untouchable, or finding a video of like Aretha in the late 60s, you know, like where someone is ascending to a level that no one else could touch. That kind of energizes me.